We are on the NASA Worldview website, which is a really cool site that lets you check out a lot of different kinds of NASA data in this viewer of the globe. When you first open Worldview, there's going to be a bunch of stories here that you can click on, so you can learn about El Nino, about atmospheric rivers. If you click on any of these, it'll have like more info about the data, and it's like a cool thing to go through. However, today we are specifically looking for soil moisture data, and we're looking for that from SMAP, which is the Soil Moisture Active Passive mission that NASA has, which measures moisture in the top layer of soil globally using NASA satellites. So to grab that, we're going to actually exit out of this stories panel, because we're specifically going to look for our SMAP data. So I'm on this side where it says layers. I'm going to click the red add layers button, and I want to add, you can see there's a bunch of different options. I want SMAP data because that's what I've been learning about or teaching in my classes is satellite data, and specifically SMAP and precipitation and soil moisture and drought and all that stuff. So I just searched surface soil moisture 9 kilometers. That's the one that I want. This is going to show us basically how wet the top layer of the ground is based on those satellite measurements from NASA's SMAP mission. And then it also, this specific one, it's combined with a computer model that fills in some gaps from the satellite data. So it's going to give us like a nice smooth map of the soil moisture. And it's going to represent the soil moisture at 12 o'clock UTC every day. And it helps us see how rainfall, drought, or snowmelt affects the land over time, how moist the soil is. So I'm clicking the first one. I don't want this uncertainty one. If you're learning about uncertainty in your class, you might check that out, but we just want to see the actual soil moisture. I'm going to click that, and then it's blue, it's selected, so I can just exit out of here. And if I scroll up, I see soil moisture right here, so it's on the map right now. We can't see it yet, though. There's a base layer that's also visible, so if it has the X through the eye, that means it's not visible, and then the gray ones with the eye, it is. So I'm going to hide the corrective reflectance, which is that like nice image of the Earth right here, but I'm going to hide it because I don't want to see that. Now, SMAP is open, but the screen is black, and that is because SMAP is a few months behind, like the current day, so today is January 29th. So we're not going to see SMAP data from today, again, because it is satellite data, but it's also like a computer model that fills in the gaps, and it takes them a while to run that computer model and then actually publish the data. So we're going to go back. Let's try, so at the bottom we have the date, so I can go back to, I'm going to go back to 2025, and you can see I just went back 1 year. Now the data is appearing for me, so I'm going to zoom into the US. And you can also zoom in any further if you know where your state is. So I know Virginia, where I'm at, is around here. So you can zoom in. It's 9 kilometers, so that's the like a really fine resolution. That's the little grid boxes, little cubes are like 9 kilometer by 9 kilometer grid boxes. You can zoom out. And then I'm in January now, so I can change this to be a specific date. So maybe if your kids researched a specific drought event, you can go to that date as long as it's a couple months before the date you're looking at. So I think if you go to, so it's January 2026, so I think, yep, October is where it's missing. We do have data for September. And maybe, okay, we got October 1st, October 2nd, so it's still there. So at some point there's going to be a cutoff where the data just hasn't been published yet, so it looks like that's about October 10th. But I have data for everything before that, and I can just like go through it like by clicking, I'm clicking the day, so I'm going day by day, so you can see how the soil moisture changes, and I'm to the 31st, which doesn't exist anymore. I can go do that by the month too, and then there's some black screens that you might see. It's because the data is loading. Once the data is loaded, I can go back the other way, and now that it's loaded in my browser, it'll actually just let me like almost like an animation showing month to month. We can do that year to year too, so 2024, 2023, and now that that's loaded in, I can do it quicker and see how the soil moisture changes over time. And we can see that for all places across the globe. And then you can use the same method to add other variable layers. Again, I'm using soil moisture because that's what we're talking about in my class, but you can take a look and explore all of the other variable options that they have for lots of different science things. So that is NASA Worldview, and that is how to access SMAP data.